Hey, ladies and gents, I just wanted to hop on here real quick, and it's going to be real quick. I won't take too much of your time because y'all going to get into a good episode today here. On May the 4th, again, may the force be with you, okay? It's a real thing, you know. In different churches, you know, they'll may God bless you, and you know, God is good, and they got to live a lot of different ways. Again, may the force be with you, okay? Two things that I made some fairly crucial mistakes on. So, again, we always correct ourselves, right? This is a thing that we have to do in life. There's times you got to go correcting yourself, and nothing wrong with it. Okay, it's necessary, right? They got amendments to the Constitution because, again, there's corrections that need to be made. They need to make some more, but that's besides the point. When it comes to, that is if they're being real and really inclusive, but that's besides the point, right? So I talk about, I'm going back and forth between the X-Men and Star Wars, and got so excited that when I speak on the first Star Wars movie, I say 97. It's 1977. And yes, the 70s and the 60s, ladies and gentlemen, and a little bleed over of the 50s is a time period we need to pay attention to. The time on this nation after World War II, we need to start paying attention to what's going on, because that almost is a secondary Reconstruction period. I know what y'all gonna say. But when you study the Reconstruction period and how that took from one group of people and gave to another, because that's what that was, the same thing happened after World War II. So they had to have both of them. They had to have both of them wars. You don't have to have none of them wars, by the way. And we will get into that Memorial Day. We got to talk on that topic because that's what Memorial Day is about. But I digress. So I made that little mistake there. So we just 1977, right? Shout out to 1977. The second is really not talking about Episode 5. I really didn't talk about Episode 5 at all. So Empire Strikes Back deals with what happens when evil claps back, y'all. Right? Ja Rule made that song "Clap Back" back in the day. Yeah, shout out to Ja Rule, man. Right? We'll give a shout out to Ja Rule, man. Murder Inc. Right? Let's just give a shout out to Ja Rule. You know, Ja Rule, Ashanti, all that little time period right there, man. Some good music came out, right? But again, certain episodes, this gangster element, again, we playing around in something that we should stay away from. I will boldly say that a lot of that is the music industry, because again, it's not owned by black folks, it's owned by other folks. And again, it's not just European people that own it. Again, this white-black thing I'm getting away from. It's not just European people who own, okay? These record labels and industries, as the terms goes. You know, again, black people need to start coming out with their own, but that, I digress. We're going to get there eventually. Because again, we're going to get ticked off, and that happens with every people group. You get oppressed and held down enough, and you wind up coming out with your own thing. Like I said, I'm not going to, so Episode 5, right? Empire claps back. The rebels are formed after 4. They have their whole war with this whole thing with the Death Star blowing it up. Again, greed normally has this kind of thing where it doesn't cover all its bases. Y'all so sure of yourself. You never cover all your bases, and you can't operate in this. See, again, each one of these entities has their own thing, and there's certain pros and cons to them. Man, we don't pay attention to these things, but we should. Okay, when you operate in greed like that, you're going to miss a couple of things. That's also on top of the things naturally as a human, because you're operating certain things, you're going to miss some things, right? So they missed the fact that you could blow up the Death Star by just having a missile go through this little itty bitty area. It's little, right? Because they cover a lot of their bases, they just don't cover them all. It's time for us to start picking apart the stuff when they ain't covered their bases, y'all, and they will never be able to see it, but we see it. Hey, there's some real information for y'all. Okay, this goes legally, health-wise, financially, all that stuff. There's some stuff that greedy people have left that you can use. No different than that story of Ruth, right? How they gleaned all the stuff and there was still stuff there for her to glean from, through which the process that she met Boaz. Same idea in Episode 5, which is a real cool thing because it kind of ties together a lot of this stuff with Civil War, the other things that hold the thing beneath more than just the good and evil battle, which was love, y'all. You see Princess Leia fall in love with Han Solo, a smuggler, man. A scoundrel, as she called him. so much about the power of love, man. Love ain't blind, people is, y'all. Can I say it one time? Lord, help me to say it. Love is not blind, people are. Y'all walk right past the, football phrase, the red flag. Y'all walking right past the red flag on the field. We all do it. We all do it. When again, all have sinned means all have sinned, man. No, not one. Y'all talking to me about context. The Bible is flowing river of context. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Respectfully, I say I'm sorry, okay? So in this war and everything, and Vader is the Empire led by Vader and the Emperor. They're pulling in bounty hunters to go in and Xing off rebels, and they pull in from every way they can, much as you see in life today. People trying to get everybody on their side to shut down the voice of truth. But I digress. Okay, they'll pull Christians to do it. They'll pull Muslims to do it. They don't care. They don't care about your religion. They care about what you give them. But anyway, they don't care about what y'all believe in. So all this happens, and at the end of it all, that sets up the return of the Jedi in Episode 6, Han Solo gets captured. The love of Princess Leia's life. All in a sick elaborate ruse to actually catch someone else. This is where we get this Han Solo and carbonite reference from. So now this man is frozen in the material. Kept him preserved as you travel to somewhere else. There's a sickness that's involved when you get melted out of it, because that's what happens in Episode 6. We see that. He's blinded for a little bit and stuff. And it's funny, when you come out of certain things in your life, you are left over with certain things you got to get rid of, a sickness in the mind. This is a lot of these predetermined things that we hear when we say certain things. Things like, God sees no color. See, you've come out of this frozen heart, which is racism, but you still got a little bit of that sickness left on you. Guys, we see color, no different than that rainbow. God sees color, no different than the rainbow that was left after the flood, y'all. That's why it's there like that. We're talking about unification now. You're not going to outdo your creator, y'all. Man, that's a thing that's got to soak in the mind. You can't outdo your creator. You're in the likeness of. So how you going to do what you in the? How you going to outdo what you in the likeness of? I digress. So yeah, Episode 5 was a thing, and again, like I said, I'm not going to keep y'all's time. Powerful story. Okay, I hope y'all enjoy this episode, and we will talk to you soon. Good morning. Good May 4th. May the force be with y'all morning. This Saturday edition. Saturday sizzle. Excuse me. Edition of A Different View, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Today's topic, as you could tell from my little open there, I wish I was able to, but unfortunately, because business has become so cutthroat, you have to be careful of what you do on podcasts unless you have certain rights and copyright rights to things. It's unfortunate. See, again, business, just to start in this thing real quick, and then we're going to get into I know this may shock y'all, but we're going to get into the first 6 episodes of Star Wars. This is going to be... Y'all buckle in. We ain't going to make it long. Because people got stuff to do today. This is Cinco de Mayo weekend, by the way, y'all. I hope y'all celebrating Mexican Revolution one time. I hope you're doing it. I know the Battle of Puebla, and we will get into that tomorrow. I know the Battle of Puebla is a thing for some folks, and it's just a little war, and they didn't win, and they lost, and Mexican-American war. It's just a shame America went to war with Mexico. You went to war with yourself. You talk about some DID there. That's somebody fighting with yourself. But anyway, oh man, you got people on these lands sitting here fighting with other folks to control something that don't belong to them. But I digress, man. We're playing a big old game here, y'all, and it's dangerous. And this is what Star Wars is all about, by the way. Shout out to George Lucas, man. Shout out to this dude, man. Shout out to this brother in the human race, okay? connected together with us in the human race, that had the foresight. Same thing with Stan Lee, man. I'm going through this X-Men, the old X-Men cartoon. We ain't even got on the new one yet. I'm going through the old X-Men cartoon. I don't even know how they was able to get away with that cartoon. If I could just take a second or two here just to talk about this. I don't know how they were able to get away with that cartoon back in the day, man, when life was wild. That mid 90s, like 90. No, so I think that cartoon is 96. Let me just. We got the computer here. We got some water. The voice is coming back, y'all. Right. I like to nickname myself The Voice. I know there's a TV show out there called The Voice. But we are fastly approaching 100% of The Voice here. We don't stay sick for long, y'all. So believe that. For everybody out there, we're talking to my metaphysical people, all that kind of thing. Y'all who believe in healing in the body. We're just going to go there. I understand that some folks got a problem. That's all right. Y'all, everybody believe what they want. For those who believe in healing in the body, y'all believe this is true, man. This body right here you've been given, ooh, what a powerful tool, man. What a powerful tool that we have been given. This physical body. For pleasure, for purpose. Whew. I ain't staying sick for long, y'all. You just gotta go there. You gotta say a thing that you believe, man. And for those who struggle with things in their body, again, this month deals with arthritis and stuff like that. Again, we're not getting too churchy with it. I understand y'all know me and all that kind of thing. Again, to my faith and healing brothers and sisters in the church here, again, I'm there with y'all. We do believe a thing. Again, we're not the only ones out here that believe that kind of thing, although we believe that it's generated from the Creator, from God above. Understand, healing is a thing given to everybody, y'all. We're going to drop this verse on you because it's going to be one that we reference from time to time since people have a problem. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about that God causes the sun to shine, which is true, right? It's morning right now. The Lord is so simple, and people miss the simplistic, man. When they say less is more, that thing is real, y'all. That thing is so real. Anyway, the God causes the sun to shine on the just and the unjust, y'all. So it's a verse you can look at right while I'm talking to you right now. Right while we talking, y'all. Because we just having a conversation. I ain't telling you right, wrong, or nothing. We just giving you some evidence here. You either believe a thing or you don't. The X-Men animated series, talking about that subject, about how they could get away with this thing. 92 to 97. October 31st, 92. Right, we all know, man, when that beat drop, you know it's about to get real. Wolverine gonna say bub, and somebody gonna get smacked up. Storm's gonna be let the elements reign. You just know Cyclops and Wolverine gonna be fighting over Jean Grey, because men fight over women. Yo, man. I ain't saying that women don't fight over men, but we're just saying what they did in this cartoon, man. Yo, shout out to Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, right? Marvel Comics, y'all, right? And this includes, because there's some crossover there with DC Comics. See, comics is just comics, y'all. While I rep DC heavy, right? And I'm waiting for these people to get their act together in the theaters, man. It is bad. But anyway, the X-Men, man, what a powerful cartoon they put together over that time period. We'll see as I go along here how X-Men 97. It's funny that they call it 97, even though the thing ended in 97. I guess it's just me picking it up off the surface, but real powerful thing. So, shout out one time to science fiction and those who are trying to show a thing in the mind, which is exactly what Star Wars was doing. 1997. Telling y'all about studying the 70s, man. Yo, where is let's just see this here. Now a lot of this information I'm pulling from, it's just right from Wikipedia. I'm not doing nothing crazy. We're not going nothing silly. We're not no deep dive here, because again, the story is very simple. And you either want to believe a thing or you don't. Okay, this is just like with life. Again, art imitates life, and Star Wars did no different. And George Lucas is paying attention to life here. Shout out to this man that put this whole thing together. Business is about family, y'all, by the way. Talking about business, because there's backstory with Star Wars, especially on the modern times that introduced that Disney trilogy mess we all had to watch, or wanted to watch, or whatever, while we sit there in the theaters, and those last 3 movies had nothing to do. Let me be very clear. This is my science fiction people. Y'all want to hit me up online. We can have a respectful chat. Those last 3 movies had nothing to do with the first 6. Nothing to do with it. Listen, you don't have some bug-eyed little creature that's a female, and I understand what they're trying to do with dealing with the trope, unfortunately, because of the sexism that is in reality, that people and men introduced into reality where women got to be a footstool. We're going to put on pause, y'all, by the way, this whole thing with, what's this guy's name? I got it pulled up on my, I had to pull up Lauren Livingston. We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back. We're going to come back to what that brother had to say. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, re-reference the last episode. Listen to the back end of the last episode. You don't even have to go through the whole episode. Just listen to the last end of it. Shout again. We got to do this here because this is necessary. Shout out to Spotify for podcasters. Again, it's necessary to have a platform where people can speak a thing and say a thing and do a thing that is necessary to help in life. And when you uncover that which is the dangers in this life, you are helping life. There's no other way of saying that. It might not look pretty. Again, we've given the analogy of the surgeon doctor, where you do a thing, and again, people, you're helping people, right? We're helping people, but you get blood on your hands helping people. That didn't mean you didn't help them. You got people walking around today, had surgeries on their knees, on their back, on their neck. I'm talking about living healthy lives right now. And again, certain people, they have certain things, they walk with a limp. But again, that surgeon, that doctor, was able to save life. Had to get some blood on your hands to do it. You had to deal with a person's pain in order to do it. Shout out one time. I hope we make this. We're gonna make this a hashtag when we post this on my Facebook page, y'all. And we try to make it to the other things. Hopefully, it links up with Instagram and such like that. But we will continue. We new in the road of podcasting, y'all. But the message is real. So we getting there, y'all. The hashtag is gonna be where my rebels at. Where the rebels at, y'all. Oh man, I got this thing tattooed on my left shoulder. That's how much I believe in this idea. And for whoever wants to get on about tattoos, we can go back and forth on that concept. Okay? And I'm talking about from a biblical standpoint, as well as just something you want to do. See, so many times we keep poo-pooing the thing that people are allowed down here to do. You're allowed to do certain. Anyway. Star Wars. Let's just get into it, because to rob from the country song Eastbound and Down. Was just watching that movie, talking about my mother's birthday a couple days ago. Just watching that movie in honor of a memory that me and her used to share. That's that Smokey and the Bandit movie, y'all. Oh man. Man, oh man. Shout out to Burt Reynolds and Jackie Gleason, man. Sally Field, right? I forget the brother who was the trucker in that movie. But just again, you got to put your country hat on in order to get into that movie a little bit, y'all. But it's got real element to it that is to all life, right? Anybody smuggling something, doing anything, right? Oh man, life is good, y'all. People make it bad, but life is very good. Anyway, Star Wars. The first one we all know, 1977. May 25th. Man, you want to talk about Memorial Day. I got some memorial for you. Civil War, which is where, and I'm bleeding into some stuff here, but when we're talking about Memorial Day, it starts with Civil War, which we don't want to look at because we tired of looking at that, y'all. Be careful of getting tired over certain things. Don't get tired about it. That is a calling to you to keep looking at it because we missed something. That part that you think is fatigue, it's not fatigue. It's a call and an alarm to keep looking at it. Why we got to keep talking about? Because we're missing something. We keep repeating and doing the same thing. We're missing something. So you got to keep talking about it till you figure it out, y'all. If y'all really tired about it, then it's time to get the foot on the gas and drive your way down to whatever library you need to go to, whether virtually or physically, and start getting the information necessary so you don't have to keep seeing this stuff in mass proportion like you do, so that you don't have to say, why do we keep having to talk about this? If you're really real about it. But again, people say that stuff and they're not really real about it. They just want to avoid it because folks suffer from DID. We're making realities that we shouldn't be. And then acting like we don't know them realities when they pop up after we made them. Anyway, shout out one time to Mental Health Month. We need mental health, man. We got to get that right. A story about civil war. Because that's what it starts off with when that scroll, right? When so that whole thing starts off, unfortunately, again, we can't really play it, so you got to hear my voice on it. It is a time of civil war. Now, you see in Star Wars, you see this kid Luke Skywalker, he just living his life out in some desert somewhere. It's funny how they went to the desert back then. People got a lot of, man, that desert life, man. I think when they did some of this, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I think some of this stuff, when they did some of this filming, they were over in Tunisia. These people, there is something about that side of the world, y'all. Go over in that side of the world. Study a thing. We're missing it over here just in this America. Y'all missing it, man. Because another part of the world came over here to make this. Y'all missing it. So Luke Skywalker's there. Well, many of us know the story, but we're going over certain points here to pick out certain things. Again, there's civil war going on, y'all, because those that now when you go back in episode 3 and you watch Revenge of the Sith, you see what happens when deception creeps in the mind. Anakin Skywalker, who is Luke Skywalker's father, aka Darth Vader, becomes Darth Vader after leaving a life of peace and defense. The whole thing with the Jedi, right? Now, George Lucas, again, a man who has studied life and culture, knows a lot about the samurai, about Westerns here on this side of the world. Again, which Westerns is just pulling from an Eastern, European mindset, right? Again, it's just taking place in the western plains of the Americas, aka North America. But the same fighting that was going on in Europe just transposed over here. This is why when folks talk to me about the frontier, I got a little bit of a problem, because it's just folks trying to live their lives on stolen land. It's a problem, y'all, right? You got to recognize that. And I know as soon as I say this, many are going to get offended because that's my great you talking about, KJ. Yeah, I know that. See, this is the problem. This is the okie doke that Massa pulled on y'all. This is why you have a problem today about as far as reparations and stuff like that goes. Y'all are still perpetrating the thought of someone who drug your families. These are my so-called white brothers and sisters. You got to understand the truth here. They drug you into this mess so that they can continue to hurt us. Where my rebels at, y'all? Where my rebels at? You got to understand this life is wrong the way it is set. See, again, Star Wars is showing this kind of idea. Y'all don't even realize it. Stuck on this lightsaber and force moving things. Y'all not paying attention to the real story in it. The abilities you've been given, aka force abilities, and being able to wield weapons of defense is what's supposed to help you against those trying to hurt you out there. But you not attacking them per se. It's when they attack you because the idea is to come and take everything. The Empire was about taking everything. And Luke Skywalker in the first movie had a choice to make. You got a choice to make. Right? An old school song. An 80s song. Should I stay? I think it's 80s. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Should I stay or should I go? that kind of thought process, right? Yeah. Y'all gonna have to come to certain conclusions. Again, hashtag where my rebels at. The empire is there. They set up, man. They taking over your stuff. They got you hemmed up in the library. There's only certain information you can find. You got to dig for some of this stuff that's actually well-known knowledge. You actually got to dig for some of it because they don't want people knowing it. It's a real thing. This isn't like a conspiracy. Again, we went over these words on my podcast, so y'all re-reference other episodes that I've already done here on these topics. Okay, this ain't conspiracy. This is real life. Y'all, we dealing with out here, y'all. You know, talking about Star Wars, there's a TV show that they did on Disney Plus, and I know people got an issue with, especially with Marvel. I gotta watch all these shows and all that. Listen, this is the name of the game, y'all. See, again, why do we? You either want to, or you don't. Just leave it at that, right? So, again, there's some things you can learn from these shows. Just watch them. Ain't no big deal. Just watch them. We do everything else all day long. Just watch these shows. Let your mind travel for a little bit. They don't do enough traveling. Because again, you sit at a cubicle all day doing, that's one type of job. Or you stand up on your feet all day, ringing up somebody's mess, right? Helping them get stuff down off a shelf and stuff like that. Let your mind do some Let your mind do some traveling, man. Let it walk for a little bit. It's healthy. Again, mental health. It's good to use your imagination. Good to daydream. I went to tell you how much I'm into this, right? The truth that I'm seeing. I went to Bath and Body Works a couple days ago, looking for hand soap because I like doing that, right? You know, y'all want to call me bougie, whatever it is, that's fine. I ain't even worried. Go down there. They got this soap called Chasing Daydreams. Yep, sign me up. Sign me up. And for anybody this resonates with, y'all sell that place out with this stuff. Now again, see, this would be nice if we could go to like a black-owned business and do this. See, I'm going to keep referencing these things, guys, until it becomes normal on the inside of your mind. You want to be able to go to every culture's thing everywhere and spend your money, and then primarily spend your money in your own culture so that you can prosper. But see, you got it backwards. You were thinking in the lines of your master. So you always got to keep thinking that the black person got to stay down, man, or they can only go so high. Challenge that thinking. Again, where my rebels at, y'all? At the end of the day, we all prosper when what? We all prosper. We all profit when we all profit. And guess what happened when we don't all profit? We don't all profit, man. We don't. That's a problem. Especially if you're talking about we're all supposed to. And this is not the natural occurrences in life that you don't prosper from something. We're talking about two different things. Let me turn on my little Grogu light over here. Got my Grogu light, you know. Shout out one time to the Mandalorian. Shout out to the friend of mine that bought me this, you know. Again, I don't think this is Baby Yoda, right? Yoda is a whole other character. Although all this Grogu character looks like it is cute because it's a baby and everybody references little things and stuff like that. I wish the parents would love their kids more. See, yeah, we ain't gotten to that last episode, y'all. But again, you got to drop the pride of which has been put in you and love your babies a little bit more, man. They need you. They need you. I don't care how rebellious you think they are. So you're talking about you're where my rebels at. I don't care how rebellious. Maybe they're rebelling against something that is either in the life they live in or the home you're in. But guess what? You got to put yourself in a spirit of meekness. We talked about that word meekness on this podcast. You need to put yourself in their place. Talking about Star Wars here and Luke, and as a young boy trying to hold on to a truth here of the Jedi. My dad was a Jedi. I don't know nothing about this life. I'm just out here trying to do my thing on TikTok. I'm just out here trying to live me. I ain't worried about what y'all fools doing. And that's a real thing kids go through. That's a real thing you went through, huh? See, but too many parents, yeah, I get to say it. Yes, Lord, I get to say it to y'all now. See, too many parents left the child part of them for this sick mess out here. Whew. God, help somebody perceive. Yeah, help somebody. Woo. That's why you got verses in the Bible that talk about if I do things as a child, If you had another one of these things, I know for my people out here going to talk this context thing. So we're going to have a class in real time for y'all, and y'all either believe the stuff or not, right? But the test is there out in life for you to pass. So again, life is an open book test, and we just missing it because we won't look at certain truths. That's fine. Y'all want to keep failing the test. God is good enough for you to keep having the thing come back round to you until you understand the thing. That's the truth that I've heard preached from the pulpit for a long time, and I did not know how true it was. But that's the truth. Since everybody keeps thinking that God is this evil, mean, malevolent being out there, another lie perpetrated. And again, y'all don't have to believe a thing or not. This is not about convincing you. This is just bringing information. You want to believe it, you don't. Okay? This idea, a little bit of a farce to it, y'all. You're not telling me that a being is making a thing and then making it so that you can just suffer in this life. No, the idea is to choose the things to not suffer in this life. We keep choosing the stuff to suffer in this life. Again, not promoting certain cultures in this planet, certain people groups in this planet, and always keeping them down on the bottom rung of the thing, right? Having the laws to always slight them a certain way, always looking at them at a slighted certain way. You are hurting yourself. You got the choice to choose to do that or not. That ain't on God. That's on you. Let me take a sip of water for a minute. Excuse me. This young boy, Luke, and his sister, man, you want to talk about the kind of deception that Anakin Skywalker went through. It affected both kids, man. His wife. Now, again, he went against code to do it. He went against the Jedi code to do it. There's a price you pay when you go against certain spiritual laws that are down here. Okay? We talked about one with open marriage last time. Again, you want to go behind your spouse's back. That thing's not going to work well. You probably want to do it up front. You want to have a conversation up front. Hey, honey. I know, right? It's hard to have these conversations, but because they're hard to do don't mean you need to do them. And here's a verse just to kind of bring to light this idea about this hard thing. You know, in Matthew, it talks about how the yoke, God's yoke, there's a couple of yokes here that we have in life. One that humans make, and a yoke is a thing that you put on an oxen that joins two animals together, normally used for farming purposes, right? Again, talking about Star Wars. Luke was a farm boy. Right? My Star Wars people, they know this. He worked on a farm with his Uncle Owen and his Aunt Beru. I guess not the weirdest names when you look at other people's names in society, right? Shout out one time to my black brothers and sisters that got names that are coming from a very the chase for royalty and privilege that we used to live under in a different society. That's for real. Shout out to y'all. Right? I understand. I totally understand, and I respect y'all for doing it. See, again, keep looking after life. You know, I mentioned something about the different colors that I wear that deal with. See, it's about supporting people. It's about supporting my people. Okay? It's about supporting people. Matter of fact, if you love people so much, more people should do it. Now, again, we get into this idea of cultural appropriation. So you got to give credit to where credit's due, which has been the problem with most of this to begin with. So you're going to rock the geisha outfit. That's fine. You're going to rock the dashiki. That's fine. But understand, we never do the thing like with headdresses and feathers and stuff. That's not disrespectful. Those are the colors, aren't they? Now, you wear certain Southwestern colors and stuff like that. Again, you don't realize you are pointing back to a time where there were certain colors and stuff used from rocks and different things in the ground that natives down here, when I use that word native, is real big. It's a real big term. See, they've told you only one type of native is down here. There's multiple natives to these lands. But I digress. Again, you got to do anthropological study to start finding this stuff out. You got to go to the source. See, in order for Luke Skywalker to grab a different part of his life, he had to go to the source. So when old man Obi-Wan Kenobi, shout out to the old people, man. Whoo! Hey, shout out to the elders, man. See, that's why I'm saying, don't get caught up in this sick little trap game they got between parents and kids. Older people, get back in touch with your youngness. Get back in touch with your youth. It's what drove Obi-Wan to doing the right thing, man. That TV show Obi-Wan they came out with was real cool. I know some people poo-poo it, some people don't. Again, it brings out a thought that's the connective tissue between episode 3 and 4. So you see the downfall of a friend, because Anakin and Obi-Wan were friends. Although there was high temptation for Anakin to join the Empire and the Emperor. We all know them emperors in our life, man, right? We all know them emperors. Now, you know the bad, as my Jamaican people say, the bad man. I'm a bad man. Listen, now they're talking about as far as being a bad man, right? But when you're talking bad man, not Batman. See, guys, you gotta, as we, you know, well, y'all could probably hear it in the background. We'll let the Charlie Brown song play. Sorry, I get to talking, you know. We'll let certain sounds play. You probably will hear it even over the background music that I play. That's all right. That's all right. We're going along. We're learning as we go. I ain't even worried about it. At the end of the day, guys, you got to realize that these precious movies, this young boy. Now Anakin went through some trouble, because you got to understand the mindset of Luke's father, right? You see your mother die in front of you by a group of people to kill her horribly. Right? When you watch episode 2, you see it. They strung that woman up like Jesus on the cross, man. Literally, they had her hanging. Now, it wasn't the same tall cross that you see, but same kind of idea. Tortured her, cut her up, and then we'll put trigger warning on this. But again, this is what you see. This is real life, y'all. See, the other side of this is real life. You know, we do so much sanitization of things. This is the people who think like this. And again, we can go too far in the thought process. So don't go making fun of folks, okay? This is just the idea of a thing. We go so far into sanitizing stuff, y'all, that we've gone too far. Now, that's not to say the opposite way, that maybe we lived a little too dirty, because we probably did live a little too dirty, which is a shame that we make fun of people over in the nation of India. You know, a couple episodes ago, I mentioned India as a continent. Back in the day, they used to call it a continent, y'all. See, again, a lot of these are just words and phrases people are using. It's a landmass. So to go forward, for those who have an issue, we'll just start calling these different places the lands of, because that's a better way of saying it. We'll say it like they used to say it back in the day. Because again, this is where a lot of this mess started back in the day. We just put cute words and phrases on it now. But the thought processes carry over from, as you hear me do the etymology of all these words: Latin, Middle English, French. It's true here. Every time. Because that's where these words is coming from. They're made up from those places in life. That's why when like Ebonics and stuff like that, I ain't worried. Guess what? My people can come up with a language too. Yours didn't they? Now, this is not to mention the language that was stolen from people already talking a certain thing. You know how the natives, what we call Indians, aka Native Americans, right? How you stop them in boarding schools from them talking their language. You know how Catholic people, right? Y'all are Christians. I know we play this game like Catholics are Christians. That's cool. The word Catholic deals with the unified, undivided Christian church, by the way. But that's besides the point. Because we just like to ignore things. Again, this is something that you can look right up on your phone. We playing a very bad game of DID, ladies and gentlemen, and it's wrong. Again, where my rebels at? At some point, you see the Galactic Empire go too far. When you watch the TV show Andor, I'm going to show y'all how real this is. I think I just mentioned it. You're watching this TV show Andor. They're working for the man, aka the Empire. You got an old man on there talking about old people getting involved in the game. Don't y'all do this thing where you're, oh, I'm 75. I'm 75, man. I'm old, man. These bones hurt. And I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying them joints don't. I'm talking about arthritis month. We not saying them joints don't hurt. Don't you let that pain drive you out the game. Don't you do it. You still got life in your body. You still got breath in your lungs. You still got a mind just as sharp. I don't even care if it's touched with dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm talking the truth and compassion coming out of me today, y'all. I'm done. See, I'm done watching what I'm watching. Talk to the young people. I don't care if they're not listening or not. Sow them seeds. We're talking about training. Training ain't ended because they're 35 and 45. They still need you. Learn and listen. Talk about the Force. Learn and listen to those times and periods where it's time to talk to somebody, y'all. Don't let those times pass you by. Redeeming the time. Remember we talked about this on this podcast? Redeeming the time is real, y'all. You have the chance to buy back. You talk about the powers that people have. The Force is a nice, cute way of just talking about the powers and abilities that we have as humans. You have the ability given to you by a great designer to be able to buy back this planet in the currency of time by talking to young people about life. Let the young people talk to you. There's something you can learn. I heard this said by KRS-One on the thing here. This is nothing new for me. Again, we give credit to where credit is due around here. At the end of the day, right, young people listening to older people helps you live faster in the life that you're in with your younger friends and family, right? So your cousins and nieces and who you roll with, right? Different friends that you know are cool. They're not stabbing you in the back, all that kind of thing, because you always got to have your head on a swivel. See, the thing we don't do, it happens with warlike people, right? So the Vikings back in the day, they taught their young how to deal and how to think to fight. And you learn as you go along certain things as well. Y'all got to think. We got to consider the thing. That's why I brought this word up. It's time to start thinking this thing through. Little bit better, y'all, than just the weekend. Just fighting through for the weekend. That's what they got you thinking for. Don't just fight through for the weekend. Fight through for the next 5 years down the road. Fight through for the next 10 years down the road. Do things today that will set you up 50 years down the road, y'all. Because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Thank God when I found out that information. Shout out to these people out here running podcasts, man, teaching people the truth, man. Don't fill me up with no fluff going on Capitol Hill. I don't care about what them snakes doing to each other. We live in a land with a pit full of snakes. All different states. When people move to these different states trying to make a life and stuff like that, that ain't the time for you to kick them in the nuts. That's the time for you to help people through life, man. See, again, we are driven by massa and not the master. Two different things, y'all. They look similar, but they are very two different things. So Anakin's sitting there, right? And you choose to not follow peace. You choose to not follow defense. You think the world is going to get secured by you taking it over. Like many people who think this way today. Again, that's not the way the thing was set up. The Force, as he learned it from Obi-Wan and from other teachers like Mace Windu. Shout out to Samuel L. Jackson in the movies, man. Shout out to Samuel L. Jackson, man. Yo, this brother, again, when you see your brothers and sisters come up from the dirt, man, you got to shout them out. Got to shout them out. It shows you can make it in this sick system the way they have made it, man. People just don't know what war looks like. Malcolm X was right when he was talking about how everybody, back then everybody was about revolution. Same way everybody today talking about civil war and all this, man. Y'all don't understand what it looked like. You don't understand the sacrifice you need in order to go through it. You don't. You don't. Our ancestors do because they went through it in the Civil War. Talking about tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo, right around the same time while they having this gross Mexican-American war, you is planning on the back door having the Civil War because y'all can't get along. You can't make money unless it's on the back of somebody else. Y'all have no other. You've been blessed with all that gray matter, all these degrees and all this garbage. Y'all couldn't have figured out a way on how to still today can't do it without properly paying people right. $15 an hour is right, y'all. Come on now, huh? Get real. Again, where my rebels at? $15 an hour makes sense when gas is $3 and change. Now that's one thing you got to spend your money for. So you already, depending on how far you go to work, this is just talking about one aspect of your life. People got to get bold with the thing, man. Government here for you. It's not the other way around. Anyway, so now Anakin's getting tempted. Now you done affected your wife that you left the Jedi Code for, who became your girl, who was a senator, by the way. Shout out to Padme. My wife already know I got a thing for Natalie Portman. See, again, we're gonna talk very free on this podcast, y'all. If you like somebody, you like somebody, right? So, Keira Knightley from Pirates of the Caribbean, Natalie Portman from the Star Wars movies. Those some cool sisters, man. We're just saying what it is. We're just saying what it is. They ain't the only ones I like. For y'all to see, again, defense is in the mind. I'm gonna call them out from a mile away because I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm done. Stop doing that. Y'all like who you like, man, right? We got to get over this because it's gone on. You like who you like, y'all, right? So, good performance is done, right? Showing what a queen can do. In a time where you had separatists, when you go all the way back to episode 1, talking about a civil war, you see the breaking apart, you see the separation, right? You see the North, you see the South breaking from the North. Now, in the movie, they call them the separatists. They want their life away from the high tariff taxes on the space routes. I wonder where we've seen some stuff like that before. See, people just not catching the play, man. Y'all, some people are just okay with war and violence, man. When you go back into England and stuff like that, these people were having wars and battles like it was black folks having a barbecue every day, man. That's what that looked like. That's what that looked like. How far are we in? Okay. I got to check the time sometime. I got to check myself. So we just did 1, 2, and 3 right there. We mentioned his mama dying in 2. We just talked about 1 with the whole separatist, because that's really what 1 is about, man, right? And you see the beginnings of how evil implants itself. Darth Maul, shout out to that horn dude, the guy who did all that, was real cool, right? Before we know about Darth Vader, they just brought it back with Darth Maul. He was a bad dude, man. It took Obi-Wan and as a young boy and Qui-Gon Jinn, shout out to, especially that color green that we all know about. Liam Neeson, man, Liam Neeson, bro, is horrible. It's certain things that happen in that man's life, just as a man, as a person. Some horrible things have happened in that man's life. But again, my Irish brothers and sisters, my Scottish brothers and sisters, man. Again, you've been given some tools, man. Y'all tap into that spirit world and different things. Y'all been given some. See, we've been given some tools down here. You gotta stop listening to these people. Got us divided, man. That stuff is garbage. That stuff is garbage, man. Anyway, he played an awesome role as Qui-Gon Jinn, an old master. Older thoughts, more rebel thoughts than just the normal Jedi Council, and how they thought on things, which he got into fights with Yoda and stuff like this. A man of his own thought, right? Shout out to my free thinkers out there, man. Y'all gotta don't let them put you in a box, man. There's more thought than what they just telling you about. Timeliness ain't timeliness, so you can just go clock in for the man every day, man. You got to come to certain conclusions about things. But anyway, and I know there's always pushback on that thought, but hey, y'all gotta grasp a hold of the thing. Timeliness ain't just timeliness, so you can sit there and clock in for the man every day, y'all. That's real. Let's see. You fast forward, so we got into 4. The Civil War done broke out. Empires done already did their thing. In Andor, what I was going to say, they're sitting there on the assembly line. This old man dies. I'm talking about drop dead right on the assembly line. They drag his body out, throw him right out just right wherever what it is. Just toss him in a basic old body bag. No different than we see when police gun down my brothers and sisters and other people. My so-called black brothers and sisters and everybody in the street, right? Same thing. Just the coroner come, just throw you in the body bag, keep on. Same idea, y'all. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it, man. So now, and then on top of that, right after that happens, now, of course, that causes a prison break because they're in prison when all this is happening in this TV show, Andor. Y'all go check that show out, man. It's the beginning of the rebellion. See, again, oppression, in this show, they say a very true thing. Oppression breeds rebellion, y'all. See, those who think they sit in the seat of power. Power don't share power, y'all. Y'all are used. Y'all are being used in a sick game. A very, very sick game. To who's going to control all the stuff? You got to fight that. You got to come to conclusions to fight that. Now, I had mentioned either an episode or 2 ago or alluded to Return of the Jedi. So now you get to 5. We talked about 1, separatism. We talked about 2, the seeds of where the downfall of Anakin Skywalker are there, where he could have rose above because of all this death caused because of all this oppression and people turning on each other. He could have turned that around and said no to the Emperor when he came calling in episode 3, but no, he fell into deception, as people do, just like we see as the fall of humans in the Bible. But the level of redemption for Anakin, as he is now turned into Darth Vader in episode 4 and 5 and 6, is his son, Luke Skywalker. The daughter's not in the picture because Princess Leia is actually fighting for the rebellion on the other side. Shout out to women who doing their thing out in society, y'all. Shout out to y'all women. We're gonna hit 45 minutes and then we're gonna end this thing. We got a few more minutes. Shout out to, so I can tell the end of the story right. Shout out to the women doing this thing. That woman, and they got cartoons with it where you see her in the beginning. Of course, the TV show Obi-Wan shows her as a little girl. I think it's pretty cool to see. Okay, because again, it had to be the whole idea here, because Vader's about killing everybody. See, he killed little kids. Y'all see this takeover thing. Y'all don't understand. Everybody on the line, y'all. Everybody on the line. It don't matter who it is. Your baby's on the line, y'all. Y'all got to rethink this thing. You about to go to the polls here. Y'all better, Jesus, my Lord. Y'all better think, and think very good on what you want to sign off on. Yeah. Anyway, so now he's got to hide this girl, right? Obi-Wan does a great job of it. Okay, right down to the end. Shout out to old people looking out for young people, man. You gotta hide them and shield them from the evil in this world, man. The way it was told to me is that the street's always out here for your family. They don't care. They don't care about how holy and sanctimonious this stuff is, man. These people don't care. You got people out here that have been in a lot of problems, and they don't care about you. They don't care about your holy union between you and your wife. They don't care about your kids. It's about, you got to protect. This thing about protection, man, and defense. This is real. You talk about the Jedi, man. This thing is real. You know, so you got Return of the Jedi here. And again, we're not saying everybody is perfect. But again, there's an idea here where we're supposed to uphold justice and truth and standing upright. Righteousness is the word goes. Standing uprightly, right? Doing things in an upright manner instead of laying on your back, hiding under the table. No, we stand up, men and women, up front, calling people by their name. Not, hey, boy, they name. We talking about how disrespect is right out in the open in y'all's faces. Y'all, it's time to, nope. I do it all the time. Anybody sit there, you whistle at me, you say hey and all that kind of thing. I know it, you know, this is not a sensitivity thing. Okay? This is a disrespect where people have learned a certain thing. No, you address me by my name. I have a name. You have a name. It's time we use it. Now, again, that is different than y'all just joking around and stuff like that, but we all know the difference. See? Disrespect in every form is wrong, y'all. No matter how big or small. When it starts all small, that thing gets big. You need to deal with that thing from the jump, right? Kill the plant at the root. You don't want weeds in your garden and your grass. This is for those on the back end, right? But again, you got to start touching the ground to understand the thing. So if the ground, it's getting hotter now, you're starting to see things green. Again, you don't want these weeds in your grass. You got to deal with the science that there is, the study that there is, that kills them weeds at its root. This is where you get Roundup and all this other stuff they got out there. And how you apply it. We ain't playing no games. We want this thing looking nice and green, man. Right? And you're going to have little bumps in the road. We ain't worried about the bumps in the road. Why people keep doing that with the bumps in the road? Stop worrying about the bumps in the road. Start getting the road fixed. Talking about these roads and how you got these potholes everywhere because of how horrible they are. And of course, people got their excuses. No, especially in New York where I'm from. Lord, them potholes, man. But anyway, I digress, man. We ain't get on from that topic. Okay. And then here we are at 45 minutes. But this is where we'll wrap it up. And then you get to Return of the Jedi, y'all. There are people, the Bible talks about them as the repairers of the breach. Again, where my rebels at? It's time to bring this thing together, y'all. And we can do it in peace, and we can do it in love and compassion for humanity. So that's what I got for y'all today. The first 6 episodes. Again, everything was nice with the Disney trilogy and all that kind of thing. Y'all want to go see it and get your own. I'll always encourage that. Y'all get your own view of a thing, right? Y'all get your own view of a thing. But as far as bringing into balance the Force, right? As far as bringing into balance life, y'all, for all this death and destruction you see, there's got to be some good. There's got to be some good and some giving and some love and compassion brought back into this life, y'all. So that's where we at. That's where we'll end it. Thank y'all for walking this journey with me. This little 45-minute journey with me. We'll get there, guys and gals. We'll get there. Again, you know what? This gives you some time out of your day, of all of the mess you hear, to be listening to some truth. I don't even know how else to say it. So thank y'all very much for jumping on here and listening to me. And we will talk to y'all soon. As always, always look to find the beauty in a different view.